Hi everyone, my name is Rachel Slife, aka the Nail Therapist, here on YouTube. Thanks for visiting my channel today. Today we're going to be looking at a woman who's been dealing with an involuted toenail for a little while, and we'll discuss what it is I'm doing to help her overcome that. We're also going to talk about why she has such dry toenails and what we can do to help restore the health of her nails. As you can see, in one visit, we've done quite a bit to do that. In this pedicure, I'm going to be focusing on the nail and cuticle care only. So there's going to be a lot of detailed work, up close video, and you'll get to see exactly what I'm doing, and I'll discuss why I'm doing it. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Like I said before, my name is Rachel Slife. I am a certified master pedicurist as well as a doctor of physical therapy. So I am kind of a science nerd. I like to know the whys of why things happen and what I can do to help overcome obstacles, especially with the foot and nail care. I start my pedicures off dry so I can work on the cuticles and nail plate more effectively, but I do soften the cuticles with a cuticle remover. And as you can see, I'm having a tough time with these nippers is because I'm not using my favorite ones. My favorite ones are these Germanicure nippers shown here that I just love. The engineering of the Germanicure nippers is far superior to any of the other nippers I've bought so far through, all the beauty supply stores. And they do cost a little bit more, but man, they are sharp and they do an amazing job, and the craftsmanship is just amazing. So I definitely recommend those. So you might be wondering, Rachel, what's that pink thing on her nail? And that is my version of the acrylic band or the Onifix band that you might have seen other technicians use to help correct the curvature of a nail. And polygel is just a combination of acrylic gel and gel polish, basically, or not gel polish, but it got the hard gel. And it's softer than acrylic, but it's harder than gel. So it's a nice blend, and it does cure to the nail plate and stays put for as long as I need it to, which is helpful. And this client, being elderly, has had trouble with her involuted nail for several years. So we wanted to take a gentle approach to see if we could restore the curvature of the nail over the course of a half a year to a year. And since I've applied these bands, she's had zero pain in her nail, which normally after about 4 weeks or so after pedicure, she starts having that nail pain in the corners. And so this has been really helpful for her to be able to go a little bit further in between pedicures without having any discomfort. So the reason I thought that the band would work is because her nail is slightly pinched. So if you look from the top down, it almost forms like a V shape a little bit, or used to. And the wider base was a good indicator that if I held the nail in that position, as the new nail grew in, it would hold that nail in that wider position, which would then lift the corner of the nail out of that groove that it's formed and decrease the pressure into the skin. Another factor is the thickness of the nail. Her nails are not super thick. They're a little hard because they're dried out, but the nail itself isn't super thick. So that indicates to me that it's going to have a good flexibility to it, and it'll become accustomed to the bracing as opposed to resistant. The other type of nail bracing system I use is called Curve Correct, and it is something you can actually buy online and apply yourself if you wanted to. and it comes in various amounts of tension. So it's basically like this flexible plastic type band that stretches across the top of the nail. And because it has its own tension, when you glue it on top of the nail, it actually tries to spring back to its original shape, which is flat, and pulls up on the sides of the nail. And so you have to be very careful about putting that on and making sure that you have the correct tension, or else it could be painful. So this is my favorite part of all my pedicures, when I get to use the e-file on the cuticles and look at that dry skin just fly off. I love this. So if you are also like me and you like to use the e-file for your cuticle and skin around the nails, you can get 10% off at Erica's ATA using code REVIVE10. So I prefer to use the e-file on dry skin and nails because it tends to be easier to remove the skin when it's dry. It's not going to peel or shred. It's just going to exfoliate and flake away. And I didn't do it on this pedicure, but since this pedicure, I've been using the small nib bit before my client goes into the water, because the exact reason, it's just easier for me to exfoliate the skin off of the nail before it's been soaking. But in this pedicure, I did it after she's been soaking, and you can kind of see how much more difficult it is to get that skin to flake away. This particular bit is called the Long and Lean Tapered Barrel, and it's a diamond bit. I think I'm using the coarse grit right now on her, and it's great for exfoliating those calloused skin areas like I am doing here at the tip of her toes, as well as removing the cuticle on the nail without really roughing up the nail at all. I also use this bit in a little bit to exfoliate some of the dry patches of nail off and smooth out the nail plate. And that's great too. It doesn't really take off any real thickness of the nail, but it will exfoliate those dry patches off the top of the nail and leave it one solid plate. So this last month has been kind of a doozy for me personally, which is why I haven't been able to get a video out sooner. I had cut my pinky fingertip off. That was a fun event. I got to go to the ER, and they couldn't reattach anything. It wasn't as big as they needed, so that was good, I guess. But I basically had an open wound on my pinky since then. I was making dinner for my husband for his birthday, and I sliced it right off in that mandolin slicer gadget. And so I had to take a week off work to wait for it to heal a little bit. And then, after working 2 days, I got COVID. So then I had to take off more time for work and recover from COVID. So yeah, and then my son got it, but my other two daughters didn't get it, and my husband didn't get it. Thank goodness. So it's been a month. How have you guys been doing, holding up this winter? You guys been getting sick a lot, or have you been doing okay? And we live in Virginia, so it's cold and we're inside most of the day. And I think that definitely plays into how much we come down with things. I just really can't wait for spring to get here. One of the things I love about the buffing process is seeing the discoloration just fade away. So many clients of mine come in with yellowed nails thinking that their nails are just naturally yellow, but it really is just the discoloration from there's the dead cells collecting, dirt and sometimes polish will discolor the nails. And so you can just go in with the buffer and buff the top layer of cells off, and it just smooths away and just looks brand new. So this side you can see the discoloration and the white patchiness is more prevalent. So this particular client likes to wear polish basically year round. And she wears an OPI color that she brings in. I'm not a huge fan of OPI. They're not as clean a polish brand as I prefer, but I'm not going to, keep my clients from using whatever polish they want to use. If they want to use it, they can use it. But sometimes when you leave polish on for too long, so she had gone for about 7 weeks before I saw her again, it can dry out the top layers of the nail and leave it looking very white and flaky. And so sometimes you have to be aware that this could happen, and it looks sort of like a nail fungus, but if you can buff it off and hydrate the nail and it goes away, then it's just dryness. If it flakes and flakes and flakes and doesn't go away with hydration, then it might be a nail fungus. So anyway, we're going to be doing some buffing and hydration, and you'll see a definitive difference, especially on that great toenail as I'm exfoliating it. So this is the same foot after buffing the nail and then soaking it for a few minutes. And it looks like a totally different foot with its nail just completely rehydrated. Now, some of that's just the water that's seeping into the nail plate. And so at the end of the pedicure, I put on a cuticle and nail balm, and that will be more hydrating than the water, obviously. But it just is like night and day. This is my favorite sidewall cleaner slash sidewall toenail lifter. It's by a brand called Family Life, Familife, Familife. And it's in my description box. There's a link to it if you're interested in getting one for yourself. It actually comes in a set with the ingrown toenail rasp, so it's a really good deal. It's like $10. This is the rasp that it comes with. And I like it because on one side it's curled like this one, and on the other side it's straight. And it has a slightly more pointy edge than the other toenail rasps that I have. And so you can really get underneath and in the deep corners a lot more easily and effectively. And the spoon, the sidewall lifter, the spoons on that are not sharp. There, I have other sidewall lifters where the metal is just thin and sharp, and it's really easy to tear somebody's skin. So I like this brand. I've used about 3 different brands of these types of tools, and this is the one I keep coming back to. So because her nails are very dried out from the polish wearing, I convinced her to take a break for the next month or so. And so she's going to use the Revive Nail and Cuticle Salve that I sell daily, ideally twice a day, but at least once a day, on her toenails to help restore the oil balance in her nails and keep them from getting more dried out. And so when she comes back in about 6 weeks, then we'll be ready to go for another round of polish. Okay, so this is the nib bit I was talking about earlier. I'm using the nib bit. It's a medium coarseness to go into the corners and along the sidewalls and get, just the remnants of whatever's left underneath the hood of the proximal nail fold, if you will. I'm using very, very light pressure. You don't want to risk putting in, the rings of fire as you go up along the cuticle edge. So mostly I'm just pushing into the skin and not so much on the actual nail plate itself. Okay, so this foot has been soaking for a few minutes, and you can see that it's way easier to get up underneath the nail and clean it out. And there's that big empty space underneath the corner there where she has her pain. So we're relieving a lot of that pressure by cleaning out all that dead skin, and we're going to leave her a lot more comfortable. Guys, I don't know why it goes to black for a second and then pops back. It did that once before in the video. I don't know why that happens. I'm not really sure. So if you have any idea why that might happen, just pop it in the comments, because I would love to know. So as you can see, the corner of that nail still really wants to curl in. So the next time she comes in, I'm going to be taking off the band, and we'll probably be putting another band on further back to do one more round of repositioning. We will reconsider the curve correct at this point because the curl has been reduced so much. The curve correct has a better chance of staying on and flattening out the nail a little bit better than the polygel band. But we're not done trying to get that curve flattened out. So after this point, I'll finish up the pinky toe, and then you'll see me apply a little bit more of the cuticle remover and callus softener on the tips of her toes. After that point, I will shut off the camera and I'll go on and finish the pedicure with the callus removing and massage. So it's coming up soon are the before and afters, and I just want to say thanks again for hanging out with me today, and I hope you enjoyed. And if this information is helpful for you or someone you know, please share that with them, and let's help others heal their nails too. I hope you all have a great day, a good night, and I will see you next time. Take care.